Greetings! We come on behalf of the Global Citizen Association with the purpose of introducing the first system in El Salvador that will grant the abolishment of digital divide on the education sector.
We are aware that children all over El Salvador suffer from digital divide and may not have access to any type of technology. Therefore, our aim is to urge you, the government of El Salvador, to implement Global Citizens as part of your only choice to move forward, to move to development, switch to technology, and become part of a global citizen. Our main objective is to reduce digital divide in rural areas of El Salvador by receiving donations from computer manufacturers or normal citizens.
Another of our main objective is to target the amount of e-waste in El Salvador. This meaning that we will receive any computer that is not being used in your workstation, as long as it meets our requirements. If it doesn't, part of Global Citizens will aim to refurbish such computer to make it eligible for donations. However, if it doesn't meet the requirements and the computer is classified as useless, our special technicians will send them to designated places for it to be treated in order to reduce e-waste.
The Ministry of Education must be aware of how we are going to accomplish these aims, so pay close attention to our offer and be the first to realize this is a one-lifetime opportunity, one you can't miss.
Global Citizens Association works from donations from computer companies and citizens from El Salvador. We accept computer desktops for them to be installed on an established workstation inside the educational center. A workstation will be where children go to school, learn from computers, and enhance their skills. We will, however, also accept laptop computers for children to mobilize with them.
Laptops will aim to reduce digital divides for elderly as well, because when they take it home, they can teach their family members to use a computer, benefit from its advantages, and hence reduce the further gap between the rich and the poor within technology. We will not receive donations of computers that are unusable and wrecked. We will, however, contact a donor with an e-waste specialist for them to follow the process to eliminate the accumulation of e-waste in El Salvador.
Global Citizens also will accept computers that do not meet the requirements for the operating system of any other hardware add-ons. Accepting these computer desktops or laptops will then allow our voluntary technicians to refurbish them and make them suitable for children to use.
Additionally, we're not accepting obsolete systems that are unable to meet the requirement for this type of workstation. Systems that are older than 6 years old we now consider obsolete. This is because the amount of processor, RAM memory, or hard disk storage capacity is not compatible with the technology we use nowadays. Therefore, we're implementing donations from obsolete computer systems to none at all. From past experiences, we have acknowledged that our Global Citizen program will be used within El Salvador, but has been used previously with other countries. We have now designed a computer profiles for students to actually be able to use those computers, so that the profile will be as follows. First of all, our RAM memory. The RAM memory we have decided is of 2 gigabytes. This is enough to run several applications at once. The computer must be able to run a video tutorial along with an application software it is explaining. That way, the student is able to listen, view, edit, and work at the same time the video is being explained.
Why not larger or smaller? More RAM memory means more applications able to run. However, the cost of a larger memory increases as the size increases. 4 gigabytes is too much for a student who is currently learning about technology. However, 1 gigabyte is too small for a student because by children's nature, they want to experiment as much as they can and open many applications, etc. And the fast operating system we're using will only use a small part of the 2 gigabytes RAM. Therefore, 2 gigabytes is the best for us.
Following up our computer profile, we have decided that a hard disk storage capacity will be of 160 gigabytes to store as much files as we can, especially multimedia, audio, video tutorials that are self-explanatory for lessons.
Why? Student desktop and laptop computers will have many files stored in it. As it is not a personal computer, a school will have to consider making accounts for a different student or different grades, because they won't all learn at the same lesson. Each account needs storage for their files. That is why we consider 160 gigabytes to be sufficient to store Word documents, spreadsheets, design pictures, or even multimedia features.
You may be wondering why we don't use a smaller or a larger hard disk storage capacity. Well, it is clear that larger storage capacity means it's more expensive for the one who is purchasing. Therefore, we cannot grant the advantage of having a minimum of 120 gigabytes because videos, multimedia features as well as other files are going to take a lot of space in the hard disk. At the same time, we were going to have multiple accounts for different grades or different lessons. Therefore, the account must be able to support as much files as possible. Additional to our computer profile, we have now decided a processor of 1.6 MHz. This is because we need students to be able to switch between applications faster. The processor allows the students to change between those applications at 1.6 MHz per second. It is a slow processor compared to the actual technologies. However, we believe it is sufficient enough to run the free source operating systems and run several application softwares at once.
The Global Citizen Association also needs extra hardware in order to run the program. For example, we might need USB ports in order to store devices. For example, as we said before, maybe we do not have enough computers for each children. Therefore, with the USB, every child will have their own files, and when they get a computer, they will open their files, and then they will be running their files there.
We are aware that in order for the government to implement this action, global citizens must be cost effective. Therefore, we are granting children with 2 gigs USB sticks that cost around $5 each. We are also aware that in order for this server to function well, we are going to need a backup in order to store all the files we are using at every lesson. Therefore, we have considered a hard disk of 1 terabyte, which costs around $70 in order to store all the files children are using at the current desk.
In order to achieve successful internet connection, we will need a router, which is a device which is used to connect computers to a network. They may be connected with a cable or wireless. In this case, we're going to use Munity, which we will need wireless.
Part of how Munity works is through a telephone that is connected to a satellite that provides the internet connection at every place possible, and it's free. Therefore, the only cost we need is the telephone itself, which costs around $4.99 each.
We will also be accepting mouses, which are $9.99 each, and keyboards, which cost $14.99 each. These can be either by donations or bought by the government.
Exactly, and following up from what Gabi said, we're also going to need speakers and microphones. This is for the children to be able to learn multimedia features, speech recognition, and speakable words. For disabled people to be able to take advantage of technology itself. Speech recognitions will need the microphones, and speakable words will also need the speakers. Therefore, a head and mic set will cost around $5 each. Part of the extra software we're going to be using to run the operating system in each of everyone's laptops is a FOSS. FOSS is a free and open source system, which is available in the internet so people can modify it, and it's totally free.
This is the best for us because first of all, you can modify it. Therefore, it will meet each children's needs. Also, it is free. Therefore, as you know, this is an organization that does not have a lot of money. Therefore, we have a limited budget.
Additionally, we're also going to be using an application software. We'll be using OpenOffice, which is part of the FOSS system we're going to be implementing. Word processor, spreadsheets, and presentation software all comes within the OpenOffice. Multimedia players, videos, sounds, and speakable words, translators are all part of the free and open source systems that we're going to be implementing in each and every one of the softwares in the computers for kids.
The way we're going to power our computer is going to be different than what normal computers have. Instead, our chargers will work with solar energy and kinetic energy. This is because schools are in poor places, therefore they do not have normal energy. As you may know, some children live in extremely poor places that the only light they will have in their house is the computer itself.
We are aware of the conditions under which these computers are going to be used, and from past experience we know that we have to protect them from environmental hazards. We need to meet the requirements so that the equipment we provide is protected from rain, dropping, dust, or any other environmental danger. Therefore, we consider cost effectiveness and avoiding having to repair the computers each time they get damaged. We're going to implement a case that protects the computer from environmental hazards. This way, even though the computer ends up in not suitable conditions, such as wet, dusty, or dirty environments, the cases will protect themselves. As mentioned previously, part of the aims of the global citizens is to reduce digital divide. And the solutions for a general digital divide are the following. First of all, for government restrictions. Well, we have implemented an international treaty that aims to reduce the digital divide between countries. The government should recognize the problem and target it with our help. Therefore, what we do is a treaty with the government to abolish all the restrictions that are actually affecting the digital divide in their countries.
Number 2 is lack of infrastructure. With voluntary aid, donations, and financial aid, we are building workstations that suits best for the requirements for computers. This will obviously target environmental health.
Also, another solution for the lack of finance in the digital divide sector is the donations from multinational corporations, voluntary aids from technicians, social services from them, and the government help and rewards to those technicians will also help to target the lack of finance.
Also for language, speakable items with a translation software to the language required and needed. Children will also be able to highlight words in a word processor application and choose if they want to listen the pronunciation of such words. Choose from any language they want.
As part of the Ministry of Education, you must be aware of the digital divide that exists in El Salvador. Therefore, we are going to provide you the solutions, especially for El Salvador's digital divide problem. First of all is the lack of infrastructure. Global Cities will provide the building up of these workstations as well as the implementing of the source of renewable energy. Solar panels and electromagnets, kinetic energy producers will be provided by us. The lack of training will be used by the penetration of teachers and non-profit organizations, NGOs, named Geek Corps, that are voluntary people who volunteer themselves to teach children about the importance of technology. Global Citizens is aware of the limited budget the government has. Therefore, we have implemented the total cost of ownership, which we used in previous occasions, like Malawi's. These include different factors such as the original cost of the computer, the modification of the software, and the maintenance of the hardware and software. The donations will be used to finance these ownerships and the FOSS, which is a free and open source system. Hardware and software will be financed by donations and used equipment donated from citizens which do not use it anymore. The maintenance will be financed by the voluntary personnel from Geek Corp, which is an NGO helping us. Social hours will going to be provided. Technical support will be voluntary as well. And the training will be provided by you guys, the government, which is going to establish the personnel, which is going to help us in order for global citizens to become successful.
As you can see, this project has really benefited everyone, most of all the ones in Malawi, because we did our project there. Therefore, it has been a success.
We cannot guarantee that the 100% of the digital divide will be abolished from itself, but we can guarantee that 10%, 20%, or maybe 30% of all the digital divide in El Salvador will be targeted. Global Citizens will compromise itself to work with you guys, with the government, and we can assure you that each and every children will have a better future, will live better, will know about technology, and at the end, grow better as persons.